Engibatholayo badlala ngothando lwami. Ngisize ube impendulo yami ngoba uthando lungehlule. Thando lungehlule mama. Thando ngiyabonga ngigeza izandla, inhliziyo yami usuyiphendula into yokudlala. Kanti thando yini lena ifuna kimi, kanti thando yini ngempela lo ifuna kimi, ngoba ngihlangane nabo bonke mina ngibathandile, awukho ubuhlungu nengibathembile bangiphoxile. Yazi kubuhlungu uthanda umuntu, tumnika uthando lwakho yini, they don't appreciate it. They just don't appreciate it. Yeah. Uthanda lboni abadlale ngothando lwami ayangibasoli. Vele kunjalo ungazi kufana nokungaboni. Kwase kwashonilanga mama, funana nothando lwangempela. Engibatholayo badlala ngothando lwami. Ngisize ube impendulo yami ngoba uthando lungehlule. Thando lungehlule mama. Ngibone ngithemba umuntu, phinde ngibone ngithanda umuntu. Ngithi uphinde ngibone ngithanda umuntu, phinde ngibone ngithemba umuntu, phinde ngibone ngithatha ithemba lami ngilibeka kumuntu wasemhlabeni. Ngabathanda bonke kodwa ungathembi noyedwa, noma umthanda umuntu thanda ubuyele nganene. Ngoba umuntu akuyena wakini, umuntu okujikele mini. Thatha kimi le ndlela ngiyayazi mina ngihambile, isothandweni lawo nendaba ugcine limele. Vula amehlo vala inhliziyo, semhlabeni lana gcwele ilingo. Kwase kwashonilanga mama, funana nothando lwangempela. Engibatholayo badlala ngothando lwami. Ngisize ube impendulo yami ngoba uthando lungehlule.
It is Sjava coming through with Uthando is the name of this particular song. He does really just deliver the most incredible love songs. If you ever listen to the lyrics of a lot of Sjava's music, it is really centered around the theme of love, and a lot of his work as well also pays homage to the women who have raised him in his life. And that is how we kick off for the show today. I hope that you are having a great day. We made it. Mama, we made it. It is yet another Friday as we prepare to wrap up the work weekend. On our end on a Friday, you know, we tend to take things a little bit slower than usual as we ease you into the weekend with creative and artistic conversation. And today we're going to be touching base with the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program. And we're going to unpack the 2024 International Day of the Girl. And this year's theme is Girls' Vision for the Future. We also are going to be catching up with newly crowned Miss World South Africa 2024. She's going to be coming through to us via the telephone. On the other side of 2 o'clock for full access. So you know that we've brought full access a little bit closer. It is is now at 2 o'clock versus 2:30. Dawn Tandeka King is going to be joining us. She is an actress. She's a motivational speaker. And of course, she's just a creative at heart, a multiple slashy, and she's going to be in studio. We're going to be talking all things her life, her career, her ambitions. You know how we do for Full Access. Really, anything and everything is on the table. 061 410 4107 is our WhatsApp line. 086 000 2032 is the number that you can call us on.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on the Full Circle.
Catching up now with Dr. Grace Ramafi, who is the program manager with MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, part of the Department for Education Innovation at the University of Pretoria. So the theme for the 2024 International Day of the Girl is Girls' Vision for the Future, and this emphasizes the urgent need for action while celebrating the resilience and aspirations of girls worldwide. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Grace. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I guess, firstly, let's just chart the importance of, a girl like this, the International Day of the Girl.
I think I might just start by saying that the theme Girls' Vision for the Future for 2024 International Day of the Girl Child is very apt given the gender disparities experienced by women in general. And rightly stated from the brief that I got, today's generation of girls is disproportionately affected by global crisis of climate, conflict, poverty, and pushback on hard-won gains for human rights and gender equality. And for me, the adage, when you educate a girl, you educate a nation, is without a doubt very true. So I think it's very important for us to really come together as men and women, especially on our continent, to make sure that we uplift young girls especially. And I always say, even to our scholars, that they must remember that leadership doesn't start when you have a degree and all of that. We've seen with our mothers at home, they have always been leaders. They are leaders in their own right, from taking care of the family, making sure that the children have eaten, the children go to school, etc., and even caring for anyone else that needs our help. Women have always been there. And we have to start really nurturing that leadership, that innate leadership in young females or young girls, for them to, by the time they reach adulthood, everything is easy for them to transition into what we see as leadership roles, because we always have that,
And when we look at the theme, Dr. Grace, Girls' Vision for the Future, what would this entail? What are girls saying that vision looks like for them?
Girls' vision for them looks like a future where they don't have to excuse themselves for entering certain rooms or being at the table making decisions, or being afraid that they will be judged when they make a comment, being able to get an education where they can be able to achieve and strengthen the skills that they have, and in that way they are able to become entrepreneurs who are not judged. They become CEOs who are not judged. They become teachers who are not judged. They are able to go out there and say, I can do it, just like everyone else, and they are able to speak their minds in every space where they find themselves.
Yeah. You mentioned that today's generation of girls is disproportionately affected by issues around, for instance, the global crisis, global climate crises, conflict, poverty, etc. Let's also talk about the nuanceness of some of the challenges, for instance, that girls in the global south are affected by. The magnitude of these challenges on girls on our continent, for instance.
Some of these challenges include, for example, with the Mastercard Foundation, an opportunity for me when I heard about it and I applied for this position. I said, I'm going there because it's really bringing change to what has always been the status quo. For example, with the Mastercard Foundation, and Mastercard has almost 40 plus partners across the world, and the imperative is to educate young girls to become the best they can be. For example, young women in some parts of the continent cannot go to school post-matric, and they are seen as ready to be wives, ready to be mothers. And yet these are young women who have so much to offer, and also in terms of speaking up about who they want to be as wives. Husbands in some parts of our continent still think that they have every right to make decisions about what they should be. And yet, given the opportunity to demystify these roles where women are seen to be people that should stay at home, look after children and all that, education is something that we can give to them, for them to even realize the ability and the strength and the intellect that they have. Because some of them are very, very intelligent, and I've seen through the Mastercard Foundation. We have Go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Okay. I said we have scholars who come from these backgrounds. For example, I'll give an example of one of our scholars who came at undergraduate level from Lesotho. I'll not mention her name. But this scholar, she said to me, she's now doing her second master's at Oxford University. She just left last week. And she said to me, when I started here, and I mean, looking back, I never thought I would be one who has gotten so many opportunities that I'm now able to get on that plane and go to Oxford. She has contributed to the financial discussions in her own country at national level.
Yeah.
She was also participated in South Africa at our 23-24 financial discussions. And she has now started an NGO. It's called Lebone Foundation, where she's teaching young girls like her in her country, tutoring them in math, science, and
Dr. Grace, I just want to hold it there for a second to go to a break, and then we'll come back on the other side of this and continue our conversations. Just gone 20 past 1 o'clock on The Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
The reality is that 90% of South Africans don't save enough for retirement. This National Seniors Month, why not be part of the 10% who do? Choose an interest rate of up to 11.7% after 60 months with a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account. Anyone 55 and over can open one on the Money app in less than 2 minutes. Go to nedbank.co.za for more info. See money differently. Nedbank. We're a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Bafana and the Congolese troops are all looking for their second victory in Group K. Bafana Bomzanzi Africa say they will take full control at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, while the green, yellow and red want to raise their country's flag with 3 points. This is the Total Energies AFCON 2025 qualifier. Experience the journey to Morocco, South Africa versus Congo Brazzaville on Friday, 11 October at 6:30 p.m. on SABC2 and SABC radio stations. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
A beautiful Friday in our part of the world, and hopefully it is the same in your corner of the country as well. We're in conversation with Dr. Grace Ramafi, who is the program manager at MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program. And we are talking around the theme of the 2024 International Day of the Girl. And the theme for this year is Girls' Vision for the Future. So today's generation of girls is disproportionately affected by issues around the climate crises, conflict, poverty, pushback as well, actually, on the very many hard-won gains for human rights and gender equality. But even with that, right, recent analysis does show that girls are not only courageous in the face of crises, but hopeful for the future. And let me ask you this, Dr. Grace. We know that part of our collective goal as global humanity is achieving gender equality and women's empowerment. And it's a very crucial part of each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. But I wonder, how do we ensure that we achieve that, particularly for girls, in particular for African girls in our lifetime?
For me, the important thing is to provide access to education for them, because education is a means to the end. For example, if we when we educate girls, we not only uplift them individually, but we also strengthen the entire communities. Educated girls are more likely to become leaders, entrepreneurs, and advocates for change. They contribute to economic growth. As I mentioned with the young girl from Lesotho, she started a foundation where she is helping young girls in her community to sort of like envision their future, and also make them aware that she has done it. They can also do it. And they can also reduce poverty, because when they are educated, they are able to support those around them, you know. And also a knowledgeable young woman or young girl will be able to look after their health outcomes. They will know that they need to go to the clinic to check on their health status, you know. And this will be something that will increase the numbers. As I mentioned, at MasterCard Foundation, the support that we provide for young people is 70% of the young people that we recruit are girls. And also, we not only leave them when they finish or they graduate, we also support them in terms of transition, provide them with skills that will help them transition better and find dignified and fulfilling employment. Employment could be different pathways. They could continue with their studies further if they want to stay in the academics or elsewhere, or also they can become entrepreneurs, you know, because we are living in an age where employment is not easy to find. You know, so they can create jobs for themselves and jobs for their communities.
Yeah. Let's also touch a little bit on, and I think you've sort of given us a little bit of an idea of the work that you do with the foundation, but maybe let's hone in a little bit on that as well. So what kind of support or what kind of outreach has the foundation put in system in order to recruit, attract, and of course help young girls through their journey?
Okay, what we do is the vision is to recruit those that come from financially constrained backgrounds or those that face social and economic changes, I should say. So we really go out there in communities where we know there are challenges. And then we recruit these girls, we bring them to the university, we support them comprehensively, not only academically. We have a resident psychologist whom they could go. We demystify the fact that they're thinking that when you go to a psychologist, you are sick or there's something wrong with them. Our scholars have time, at any time they can go knock at our psychologist office, and they sit and talk about issues that affect them. Are we still there?
Yes, we are here. We are with you, Dr. Grace.
All right. Okay. Talk about issues that they have. We also have bring in people to come talk to them about young women, how to look after themselves, or how to solve challenges that they face. We bring role models to come and talk to them. And by the way, our scholars come from different countries. We have 28 countries represented on the scholars program, just from the continent. So you can imagine the diversity and the cultural differences.
Wonderful.
So we get them to talk to one another. They have topics that they engage in terms of transformation, cultural diversity. They talk about differences within their cultures. They learn from one another.
Yeah.
We provide
Dr. Grace, we have to leave it there for today, unfortunately, but we appreciate the time with you and, of course, the exploration of this very important topic. That was Dr. Grace Ramafi, who's the program manager of the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, as we obviously honored the 2024 International Day of the Girl under the theme Girls' Vision for the Future. It is 1:30. Madupi is standing by with your headline news.
Thank you very much, Sister Bridge, and a very good afternoon. In your headlines, Asawa, the Auditor General's Office says despite the significant non-payment of its audit fees, it's satisfied with the current funding model utilized for revenue collection for the work that it renders. The man charged with the murder of the chief whip of the Umgeni municipality in KZN has abandoned his bail application, and Limpopo Education has confirmed that 22 of the 35 learners who displayed symptoms of food poisoning earlier this week have returned to school. Details of these and other stories coming up at 2.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
Okay, let's get some feel-good, some feel-good news and carry on these good vibrations. We're catching up with 18-year-old Zoalise Jansen van Rensburg, who was crowned the 2024 Miss World South Africa in a glitzy, dazzling ceremony out in Sun City this past weekend. And of course, she follows on the footsteps of the inaugural winner, medical doctor Claude Mashego, who came to visit us last year post her winning. Zoalise, how are you doing today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. It's been a very busy morning and quite productive, but I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Congratulations on the win, Miss World South Africa 2024. I guess let's start by sort of tapping in. You say it's been a very busy morning. I can imagine that this last week, in fact, has probably been quite the roller coaster.
Oh, wow, it has been. Firstly, thank you for the congratulations. I think, going into a week filled with media and filled with reliving that moment has been something so beautiful to experience, because it's not just a night to remember. It's been a whole journey to remember. And I know with the weeks leading up, every single day there's something new to take with me and put in the memory book. So it has been so incredible, and I can't wait for the coming weeks during my reign.
It's like, woo. Apologies, I don't know what that feedback was. Caught me by surprise as well. What it's going to be? And let me ask this. So 18 years old from Pretoria, and you had your eyes set on Miss World South Africa. What is the allure with the pageant, or perhaps what the pageant stands for, that was attractive for an 18-year-old?
I've always aligned myself with the morals and values of Miss World and Miss World South Africa. So my heart has always been embedded within the brand, as well as my loyalty, because this is such an amazing development program. It really focuses on transforming the lives of young women, and I really value what they stand for. So for me, it was very imperative to align myself with an organization that leads with passion, purpose, and is very involved in community, because I've dedicated my life as a servant leader, and I live a life of service. So to see festival like Miss World, South Africa and Miss World, coming to my home country, which is South Africa, and see them celebrate like-minded individuality, they celebrate advocacy, and they celebrate purpose. That is what was really attractive to the organization, and they really stand for advocacy, and I advocate for equality, and I know that if I'm able to champion my notion alongside an organization that really emphasizes advocating and standing for a cause, we can really champion a great movement collectively.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is, right, technically, you're still very much a youth.
Yes, exactly.
Still very much a youth, but it from the sounds of it, it seems as though you are also you also have an old soul within, and you live very consciously of certain things, right? And I wonder, in the context of the country that you live in, the country that raised you, and understanding the social, political, and economic dynamics of South Africa, it's an uphill climb when we start talking about conversations centered around equality. Where do you find entry into those themes, and how would you find advocacy moving forward with those kinds of themes for yourself, and of course using your year of reign?
Absolutely. So as you said, we live in a country that has a lot of inequalities and marginalized groups. And as someone who falls a part of that, it's been very challenging to see how many people experience the same thing. But that's when I realized that I have the ability to facilitate my own success and take up space within this world. I'm the leader of my own life, and I can become the hero of my own story. And that's what I want to teach through my development program, which is known as Never Too Young to Advocate, which primarily focuses on young people, as they are the leading generation. But it really is an inclusive platform to everyone, where our primary focus is to reduce inequalities, and we try to improve the protection of women, children, as well as safety and security, and we strive towards gender equality, but we also promote peace and justice. So this initiative has branched out to several different things, and you can hear more about it on my social media platforms and my Beauty with a Purpose program, which is also on Instagram. But our main mission is to empower the young people of today, and I need to do that now, because as much as they are the leading generation of tomorrow, they need mentors to equip and lead them currently so that they can become the future leaders and lead with confidence. But during my year of reign, I really plan to use it to teach people that no matter how young or how old or how unqualified people might deem you to be, you have the ability to have an impact. I've always said there's nothing that can be substituted by love and passion and purpose, and you can feel that in your heart. You don't need to have a degree. You don't need to have so-called life experience to know what that feels like. So you need to have enough self-belief within yourself and unlock your greatest potential and for you to have an impact in this world. So that's something that I would like to teach to young people and marginalized groups within this country, is that you can facilitate your own success stories.
Yeah. We just come off the back of a conversation around the International Day of the Girl Child, with the theme this year, Girls' Vision for the Future. And I wonder, for you and your peers, what does that future look like for a young South African woman or a young African woman listening to you today?
I would say, to me, it looks like a future where hate and negativity does not foster. I'm someone that strives towards gender equality, and it's been difficult as a woman that has been in the male-dominated industry priorly to see how undermined and underappreciated women really are. But I think there's one beautiful thing within us all as humans, but more prominently women, is that there's always a sense of unity. I've always felt connection and power within the beauty of sisterhood. So as a young South African woman, I want us all not to defer from that. I want us to stay steadfast in our connection as females, and I want us to take hands to uplift each other, because as much as, both genders are equally important and all genders are equally important to the world, the essence of a woman really represents community and hope, and that is what our world needs. So we need to start being more respectful towards women, and I think as a collective we need to start uplifting each other day by day, no matter how, on the different levels we might be. We need to empower each other to be a collective human nation.
I mean, you know what? It all sounds like music to one's ears, and it definitely sounds as though you are quite equipped and ready for the journey that lies ahead of you, which is a beautiful thing. So when do you go off to then compete on the global stage for Miss World?
So it is set out to take place in February of 2025.
Okay.
But I think, preparations, they've never stopped. This has been a journey of a lifetime for me. So ever since I was young, I had dreams of becoming a Miss World. So my preparations have always been reoccurring in my life, and I believe I'm there to represent not only the essence of myself, but my country. So I'm working hard every day, leading to the send-off.
Wonderful stuff. I'm sure we are going to catch up with you closer to the time, and we wish you the very best with this new journey that was newly crowned Miss World South Africa, Zoalise Jansen van Rensburg, and she is on social media. So if you want to get a glimpse of what the beautiful brunette looks like, she's definitely an old soul inside that very, very young body of hers, because she speaks like a woman who's lived many lifetimes indeed. The crown certainly being in good hands there. Job well done to all of those judges who were crowned this past weekend. It's gone 20 to 2 o'clock on the Full Circle. We're going to take a quick pause here, and then we'll come back on the other side of this, and we will continue. I think my team does not take me seriously at times. I think at times they think that we are not doing live radio here. I swear to goodness, they just have me breaking out into laughter because they've decided that they're going to break out into a chorus line, through the window directly in front of me. In part, I think they want to see whether or not I will hold a serious face and hold a serious discussion. But little do they know that I will clue you in as to what's happening. It's just gone 22 at 2 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
My name's Michael Fontaine. I'm 16. I have difficulty paying attention in class, so I fell behind. That's why my parents moved me to UCT Online High School. I can't thank them enough. Their flexible learning means I can take classes when it suits me, so I get ahead and stay ahead. Visit uctonlinehighschool.com to learn more. Applications close 29 November 2024.
Fizzy drinks and fruit juices are making our kids sick. Sugar is dumped into their bodies with every sip, leading to obesity, heart disease, and diabetes as they get older. We need to protect our kids from all sugary drinks. Demand a stronger health promotion levy now. Sign the petition on healer.org. That's HEALA.org.
CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe said, the exponential growth and global competitiveness of football in Africa has resulted in substantial interests from major African and international broadcasters in African football. SABC has been participating competitively in the CAF media rights bids. CAF welcomes them as partners, joining a number of CAF's media rights holders. We are committed to ensuring that CAF's competitions, including its broadcast products, are world-class.
Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
Alrighty, the show does go on our side of the world, and we're getting into a conversation now looking at a new documentary. It is called The Arch, and it pays tribute to the remarkable life of the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, showcasing his unique blend of courage, activism, and humor. And we've got executive producer of the documentary, Naniwe Maqetuka, joining us now. How are you doing, Naniwe?
Hello, good afternoon, Bridget. Good, thanks. And how are you? Good afternoon to all the listeners.
I am great. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking. So the documentary is set to premiere on SABC2 this Sunday, called The Arch. Let me start firstly by understanding, because there's so much life lived with the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. When did this project sort of find root and momentum?
Maybe let us just start by correcting you. The premiere is the 20th of October.
Oh,
so
not
Sunday.
this Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the 20th of October, SABC2 at 9:30.
All right.
You know, a lot of people had, you've put it well, there's a life well lived, long life well lived indeed. And a lot of people have documented the Arch's life. However, we felt there was a gap with regards to really getting behind the story of who he actually was, what started his activism, and pinpoint the exact detail of his activism. What did he do? How did he impact the change in the society? And I mean, if you'd allow me to get into the detail of what it is that we actually looked at, it was his involvement in 1969 at the University of Fort Hare, which is believed to have been his really first initiative in activism, you know, where there was a well-documented uprising, student uprising, and I believe it was quite global. And he then, without giving much away, he stood in the gap between the students and the police. That was the beginning of it. And then we move on to his involvement in influencing the formation of the Black Consciousness movement. He was there when that was formed, the UDF when all the other parties were formed, and the strides that he took with regards to Black theology, because of course the narrative had to change from what the missionaries had brought, and how he stood firm on the ground with regards to who we are as Black people in relation to religion, and how we cannot be subservient to an oppressive system whilst we saying we're serving the same God with the oppressor. Then we talked about, the impact in his family life, of course. So, yeah, I hope I've given you a bit of detail and answered your question.
Let's. You did. you absolutely did. And I'm curious to know, because you say, in part the project aims to also pinpoint or centralize who he was to us, to his family, as the man behind all the greatness. But I wonder, is that not a daunting and difficult task to try and package in a 4-part documentary? Because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I guess for one to be great, even if you come into greatness accidentally, the life before that almost positions you unconsciously for the journey that you're going to take. And at times, you find that maybe it's not even documented, before the cameras start realizing your name and start hearing your voice. How easy was it for you guys to go back into those archives, to extract those stories, and then ultimately, put that together in a 4-part?
You couldn't have put it better. A daunting task indeed. However, I must give credit to our team. The research team was absolutely amazing, and we pulled all stops. I cannot mention the series director, Mr. Clement Hamilton. He had a vision and stuck to it. We pulled all stops. We had to go and look under the rocks, deep in the ocean, to try and get the most unique footage, research. I mean, we've interviewed close family members, son and a daughter, and also fellow activists and colleagues, people who really were very close to him, and even went to the length of interviewing some of the people who were in the apartheid system on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
To just get into the minds, what was happening there, what was the plan, and now that we're here, what do you say? So we tried to really cover as much ground as we could, but as you say, it's with a man like the Arch, you can never really say you've reached the ultimate where it comes to telling about his life. But we tried to get as much unique and never seen stuff as we could, and the style by our director Clarence Hamilton was just absolutely amazing, and just the whole team, my partner Mr. Ryland Fisher, and our series producer Mr. Edimbalo. It took us just to give you an idea, this took us a good 2.5 to 3 years to put together. So it wasn't an easy task. We didn't wake up and put a documentary in 6 months.
Yeah, absolutely. They tell me that they've, my apologies. They tell me that they've located a little bit of audio for us to play out into. So I'll take a quick pause here, deal with the frog in my throat, and then we'll come back. We'll also get a little taste of this 4-part documentary, The Arch.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I was recently diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome. Patients like myself go through a long and strenuous journey to get a stem cell transplant. I am grateful for the support I've received as I wait for the call that my donor has been found. This Sunflower Month, be a lifeline to patients like myself by registering to become a stem cell donor. You can save a life by registering at dkmsafrica.org.
South African Airways is expanding in the DRC. We now offer direct flights from Johannesburg to Lubumbashi, the heart of the DRC's mining hub. Our convenient arrival time allows seamless connections to key regions like Ndola and the Copper Belt, opening up new growth opportunities. Traders can benefit from our generous baggage allowance, while SAA's superior aircraft belly capacity ensures your cargo reaches most parts of Congo on the same day. Book now at flysaa.com or contact your travel agent. South African Airways, connecting Africa to the world, one flight at a time.
Friday nights in Gqeberha will never be the same. Bafana Bafana are taking on the Congo at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium on the 11th of October 2024 at 7 p.m. Come early, dressed to support Bafana Bafana. Sit in our Guijo stand for a chance to win prizes. Gates open at 4 p.m. and tickets start from 60 Rand for adults and 140 for a family ticket. 2 adults and 2 children with special rates available at 30 Rand for children under 12. Scholars in uniform and students with student cards at all Ticket Pro outlets. If you can't make it to Gqeberha, catch the game live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 at 7 p.m. or visit sabcsport.com. For more details, visit safa.net and Bafana Bafana on X and TikTok.
Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
God before us, who can be against us? We could never accept the second-class citizenship that they were trying to foist upon us. The dignity with which he held together this crowd of us who were just so angry and wounded.
You could see he was touched by all of this inhumanity.
It was Tutu who took the first strong step.
We are in the midst of a conversation looking at a new documentary, just a tiny sound clip there of the docuseries The Arch that is executive produced by Naniwe Maqetuga, and she joins us now in conversation, well, the second half of the conversation at least. And let me ask you this, Naniwe, as you and your team sort of dug into the research, which I'm sure comprised written archives, photographs, video footage, as well as those personal interviews with friends and family, and even as you've alluded, people were on the opposing side politically to the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu. What was of most fascination and surprise for you to learn about the man, the leader, the great international citizen that he was?
That's quite a loaded question because there's so much. Firstly, it's just his determination and his persistence. He was just quite a persistent man, unafraid of anything, and just to be, I could literally say in today's language, the Arch was willing to take the bullet for his people. Yeah, it absolutely amazed. I was absolutely amazed. But also, what I learned, which is also quite important and was very disappointing, Bridget. You asked about the footage and all that. It is so sad that so much of our history that is documented is not owned by us, South Africans. There's so much footage that we had to buy internationally, and this is our history. So the biggest reason why we're doing this is so that we all have stories, and we start having our own memory banks of who we are, where we come from, and really educate those that come after us.
Absolutely. Very important. I think, the conversation around archiving our individual and collective histories has been a running theme throughout my broadcast career now for the last 7-8 years or so of focus, because it is so important, as you say, and we should make efforts. Understandable perhaps why in sort of those yesteryears perhaps some of our history would have been lost, some of our archives would have been lost or captured by other sources, but we should take it upon ourselves. The onus should be on ourselves and the different various arms of government and institution and organization to recoup back those archives, in order to just bear custody to our own stories.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the reason we do this. We want to own and tell our own stories the way they're meant to be.
Very important work indeed. So 20th of October, you say that's when we have a date on SABC2 at 9:30 p.m.
in the evening.
Yeah.
And the second episode, so it's a 4-part series documentary. The second episode will be aired on the 27th of October, which would be the following Sunday after
Yeah.
For 20 years.
Is the Archer story the only one that your production house Attuned is focused on telling, or will you be now taking on the job of telling more stories out of the pages of South Africa's history?
We have already embarked on that journey, and it is our mission to tell the stories of our people the best way that we can.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Naniwe, it's been a pleasure getting to chat to you today. That was Naniwe Matlotuga, who's the executive producer of the documentary The Arch. As you heard, it's premiering on SABC2 on the 20th of October. It's a 4-part series, so it's going to be on for 4 Sundays. It's going to be running 4 Sundays back to back at 9:30 o'clock. Definitely want to be watching this one because I think it's going to be an incredible story being told. You know, the one thing, as we were having this conversation, I was thinking the one thing I miss the most about seeing, I never had the pleasure of meeting the Arch, but the one thing I miss about seeing him on television, he was always such a jovial man. No matter how serious the message was that he was delivering or how tense the situation was, he found a moment to break the ice. He always found a moment to just make everybody in the room laugh a little bit, disarm, the audience in attendance, and then get on with the business of the day. And I get the feeling that it was also very short. Perhaps I could be wrong, but I get the feeling that he was a very short guy. Let's take a pause, and then Madupi Makharavele is coming through with the news at 2.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Myths versus facts. I'm too young to get breast cancer. Many women under age 40 are diagnosed with breast cancer. Men can't get breast cancer. 1 in 922 men have a lifetime risk of breast cancer. I have never had children and can therefore not get breast cancer. Women who haven't had children or only had them after 30 have an increased risk of breast cancer. Breast Cancer Awareness Month on SAFM.
I'm Michelle Constant. Join the JSB crew and I every Saturday and Sunday morning between 7 and 10 a.m. We promise to keep you informed and entertained with innovation, culture, cars, travel, life learnings, environment, and of course, your big fat juicy. Small stories, big ideas, massive inspiration. The Jet Set Breakfast on SAFM.
O'clock, a call on the NPA to explain the Phala decision, and suspect abandons bail in the KZN councillor murder case. A very good afternoon. The DA says the NPA owes the public an explanation on why it decided not to prosecute anyone in relation to the crimes committed on President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala farm in Bulawayo, Limpopo. Yesterday, the Director of Public Prosecutions in Limpopo said in a statement that the decision was taken after investigations revealed that there was no prospect of a successful prosecution. Former State Security Agency DG Arthur Fraser had lodged a criminal complaint against Ramaphosa in 2022. DA leader John Steenhuisen, who occupies a cabinet position in the GNU, says the party is committed to ensuring that the rule of law is upheld.
The NPA will be summoned by our members on the Justice Portfolio Committee in Parliament to come and explain their decision. I think that there does need to be greater explanation of the decision. I think that when a decision like this is made and it has obvious implications that reach right the way to the very top of government, that there does need to be greater information that is provided, and I believe that the Justice Portfolio Committee in Parliament should be the place where the NPA come and share with those who are exercised with conducting oversight of them, are able to understand the decisions there.
The Auditor General's Office says despite the significant non-payment of its audit fees, it is satisfied with the current funding model utilized for revenue collection for the work it renders. Currently, the bulk of the budget of the AG is derived from the fees it charges when it audits various entities like government departments. The AG was briefing the Standing Committee on the Auditor General in Parliament on the outstanding collection of fees owed to it. Deputy AG Vonani Chauke says the current funding model is important in preventing the independence of the institution in the execution of its public mandate.
I think, Mr. Khan, you used the words now, we should engage on this and talk about this, but I think that is what the committee wants. We really want something that is planned to address this, to keep the independence, but to address and mitigate the financial problem that we are facing currently, where the majority of this billion rand outstanding debt is municipalities. We know that the financial health of municipalities are in a dire state, and how do we address this without sacrificing them?
The man charged with the murder of the chief whip of the Umgeni municipality in KZN has abandoned his bail application. The 31-year-old appeared in the Howick Magistrates Court this morning. He is alleged to be part of a group that shot Councillor Ntlalayenza Ndlovu 10 times at his home in December last year in the presence of his wife and children. The state has asked for an adjournment for further investigations. The man will be back in court on the 8th of next month. Limpopo Education has confirmed that 22 of the 35 learners who displayed symptoms of food poisoning earlier this week have returned to school. However, the remaining 13 learners are still recovering at home following their parents' request. On Wednesday, 35 learners from Makahlule Primary in Malamulele were hospitalized after falling ill due to suspected food poisoning. MEC Mabunguli Ramakhanya says various sources are being investigated.
The sampling of the food includes the snacks that are sold by the vendors in the school. But on our side, for the food that we provide for the learners, we have sampled out also on the other 10 schools where we find that the same service provider do provide food, even though in those schools there were no cases, just for us to be able to say, indeed, there is nothing in the food that has been supplied.
Education Quality Assurance Body Umalusi has raised concerns over basic education's shortage of marking staff during the exams. The shortage would affect history, English home language, Afrikaans first and additional language, primarily within language paper 3. Umalusi says it is ready to administer the 2024 matric exams. CEO Mafura Kometi says the contingency plans that the department has put in place are simply not enough.
The appeal that we are making is to the employer, and the employers are the heads of the different provincial education departments, also called superintendents general for education in the different provinces, to say this matter has been raised several times. It has to be corrected. It cannot go on like this. Otherwise, it will compromise. Contingency measures, yes, appreciated as a stopgap measure, but that is not where we should be as a country.
And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will continue his whirlwind European diplomatic tour today. He'll visit Pope Francis at the Vatican before meeting Chancellor Olaf Scholz in Berlin. Zelensky badly wants Germany's missiles to strike back at Russia. The BBC's Damien McGuinness has more.
Both the German government and the conservative opposition are vocal supporters of Kyiv. But when it comes to long-range missiles, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is not giving Mr. Zelensky what he wants. Mr. Scholz not only refuses to allow Ukraine to use Western-made long-range missiles, Germany has so far refused to even supply such weapons. The Chancellor believes striking key Russian targets with German arms could lead to a direct confrontation between Germany and Russia.
The top story at 2 o'clock, the DA says the NPA owes the public an explanation on why it decided not to prosecute anyone in relation to the crimes committed on President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala farm in Bilabila, Limpopo. The full circle continues. For SAFM News, Gimudupi Makhalemele.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The University of Johannesburg ladies plan to conquer the morning and secure a crucial 3 points for breakfast. But Richmond United believe it is about time for them to rub shoulders with teams in the top half. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Witness the Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. UJ Ladies FC versus Richmond United Ladies FC on Saturday, 12 October at 9 a.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Fizzy drinks and fruit juices are making our kids sick. Sugar is dumped into their bodies with every sip, leading to obesity, heart disease, and diabetes as they get older. We need to protect our kids from all sugary drinks. Demand a stronger health promotion levy now. Sign the petition on heala.org. That's HEALA.org.
Those who love the game say chess is the gymnasium of the mind. The world's top chess players will showcase exciting fast chess played among 6 teams in search of the ticket to the ultimate glory. This is the second season of the Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. Catch the Global Chess League 2024 action from 3 to 12 October, live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It is Gulo the song coming through on this particular one. Is on an interesting journey right now. I think it started also just a few years ago, with his spirituality and his ancestors. What an incredible soul. If you've never encountered him in conversation, definitely someone that you'd love to sit across a table with. You know how people would often ask you, if you could invite 20 people to a dinner, which 20 people would you invite? And people will throw out names like, the late Nelson Mandela, the late Winnie Madikizela Mandela, Barack Obama, the late Archbishop. It's always nice to also make it intergenerational, put in people like Kanye Mbao there for a little bit of some spice, but also understanding how the frequency of their mind works and the energy that they'd bring into a room. And then you throw in someone like a Gulo de Song who's on the opposite end of that particular vibrational spectrum, but who's lived an incredible life, and his observations and the lens at which he sees humanity and how he approaches humanity is something so ethereal, completely out of this world. Incredible human being to just sit and soak in the amazing experience of life that he's had. And who knows, maybe one day, it's always difficult, I think, with performing artists to lock them into a Friday afternoon at round about this time, because a lot of the times they are jetting off to incredible places all over the country or leaving South African borders to go perform somewhere internationally. And so that's why you even find on this particular feature, the Full Access, we rarely have musicians come in, especially your A-listers. No disrespect to anybody who's taken up the seat. Your A-lister, headliner musicians coming in. It's not that they don't want to, it's just trying to lock down that schedule. It becomes so difficult that oftentimes the teams on both sides, from my show and they camp, we just end up just going, okay, we'll see when it happens. Dawn Tandega King is in the building, I'm told. She's in the building. She's making her way into a studio. We've reworked our clock a little bit, so even from our end, we're just trying to tighten up how we conduct 2 o'clock so that on the other side of past, we can bring you the rest of the programming. So it might be a relatively short conversation because we're hoping she'd be in the studio already, like as in physically in the studio with me now. But she is in the building. She is making her way up. And if you've ever been to a SABC Radio Park, then you do know that sometimes half of the challenge is getting into the lift, because the lift in itself can take 10 years just to get to the ground floor before it makes it up to the 6th floor. Let's take a quick break here, and hopefully in the next few moments she'll be in studio.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, with me, KG Mweketi.
Every person, no matter who you are, what music you're inclined to listen to, and what you do with your weekends, you need a weekend playlist. It's that musical mix of music that accompanies the lazy weekends, whether catching up with friends and family or just taking some time to reflect. Tune in to The Soundtrack of Your Life with me, Ernest Pillay, Saturdays and Sundays, 1 to 4 on SAFM.
Keep their top status in Group I, but Stangsem Negati want out of the bottom position. They believe not even the Mozambican heat will stop them from getting their first win. This is the Total Energies AFCON 2025 qualifier. Experience the meeting between neighbors. Mozambique versus Eswatini on Friday, 11 October at 3 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available everywhere for everyone. Always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game. Cultural Urban Festival Africa will conclude the weekend in style with an exhilarating brand of football. The City of Roses will vibrate as Batabane Bandwa battles it out with Amakosi. This is the inaugural Kufa Cup. Who will conquer the 90 minutes at the Toyota Stadium in Bloemfontein? Witness the incredible Kufa Cup clash between Maruma Gallants and Kaizer Chiefs this Sunday, 13 October at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC 1 and SABC radio stations. You can also catch it everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Tickets are available at Ticket Pro, Spar, BP, and Shell. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting...
As we await our guests, but perhaps we can just quickly touch base with you this Friday afternoon. How's your Friday going? How's your week been? We'd love to know, have you had a productive week? You made it to Friday. It's always a good thing for you to make it to Friday. When the work week begins on that Sunday, we're already dreading and thinking, oh, what a long week it's going to be. And then we make it to Friday. With relatively no activity today on the news cycle, I think we are blessed for that, right? We've seen, of course, this morning, I think we started off on a rather somber, reflective morning with the memorial service in Naledi that was happening, as well as the burial of one of the family members out in Lusikisiki that was being covered live. And then for the better part of the day, we've really just had a check-in. It's been a check-in week for all of the political parties. Everybody holding a press conference and I guess assessing the last 100 days of GNU, from the DA to the Red Berets yesterday, the DA midday today, and of course MK just wrapped theirs up a little while ago as well, just reflecting on those 100 days of the GNU. So we'd love to know, how's your week been as you ready yourself for the weekend. Our lines are open on 086 000 2032 and 061 410 4107 is our WhatsApp line.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 106.6 FM in Mangaung. Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Myths versus facts. I'm too young to get breast cancer. Many women under age 40 are diagnosed with breast cancer. Men can't get breast cancer. 1 in 922 men have a lifetime risk of breast cancer. I have never had children and can therefore not get breast cancer. Women who haven't had children or only had them after 30 have an increased risk of breast cancer. Breast Cancer Awareness Month on SAFM. SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
So many moving parts on the show. If you're watching us on our live streaming, then you know that we're trying to re-gear and rejig our clock right now. All things happen in live time. And so we thought, let's perhaps bring forward our kids programming. Let's get into Kids Corner, and then we'll come back on the other side of this and see where we go to from here.
and welcome to Nali Bali. Have you ever seen a mouse? A mouse is a small rodent with a pointed nose, very round body, large ears, and a long, often hairless tail. There are hundreds of types of mice, divided into subfamilies of either Old World or New World species. Common varieties include deer mouse, house mouse, field mouse, wood mouse, dormouse, spiny mouse, and zebra mouse. Though some people talk about mice and rats as if they are the same thing, they are actually different types of animals in the rodent family. Rats generally are larger than mice, and they can be bald, scaly, and cylinder-shaped. Let's listen to today's story called Run, Talita, Run, written by Vuyoka Zingemtu. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and... dance! Talita was a field mouse. She came from a big family and was the oldest of the 24 little field mice. Their home was a hole in the ground, behind the farmer's old rusty tractor. Talita's family gathered food from the farmer's barn. But the farmer had a big cat called Ginger who loved hunting mice.
I don't like Ginger at all.
Talita told her dad, but she knew she could outwit the cat because her dad taught her very well. From a very young age, he had taught all his children how to run very fast. Dad would say, "I'm going to pretend to be Ginger and chase you. You must run away as fast as you can." Then he would chase after his children shouting, "Meow! Meow! I'm going to catch you, you tasty little mice." The 24 little mice would scream and run away as fast as they could. Dad made sure everyone knew how important it was to make sure that the cat never caught them. The little mice spent months training before they would finally be ready to go outside on their own. But even then, Mom and Dad field mouse only let them go outside if Talita went with them to lead the way. One day, all the little field mice were ready to go outside.
Be careful out there, children.
Mom squeaked in a worried voice.
We will, Mom.
Talita assured her, kissing her mom on the cheek.
Come on, everyone. Follow me.
Talita said as she led 23 little mice out of the hole they called home. The farm was very busy that day. It was the day of the harvest and everyone was working hard to gather the crops. There were bright orange pumpkins, red ripe tomatoes, baby potatoes, and many other vegetables. Talita clapped her soft little pink paws.
Wow! I love pumpkin seeds,
she said. Then she turned to her siblings and whispered,
"If we work wisely, we can take a lot of food home. And I have a good plan. Susie, if the dog comes, it's your job to keep him busy. I'll get the cat out of the way. Everyone else, please form a long line from the barn to our home."
The little field mice lined up, and Talita made sure everyone knew what to do. Talita looked around the barn to make sure there were no humans around, and then she saw something that made her very happy.
Oh, look! Someone has left a basket of eggs on the table. We love eggs,
she said to her brother Marvin.
Oh, yes, we do love eggs,
agreed Marvin.
Talita, stand on my shoulders so that you can climb onto this chair. From there, jump onto the table and reach the eggs.
Quick as a flash, Talita was on the table and she dived into the basket of eggs.
Come on, Talita, hurry up. The humans might come,
Marvin said. But although they had been whispering, the dog heard their squeaks and came running into the barn.
Run, Susie! Run! The dog is coming!
Shouted Marvin. Susie knew what she had to do. She ran as fast as she could to distract the dog, and luckily, he stopped to watch her. While the dog stood around looking confused, the little mice quickly started rolling small pumpkins, tomatoes, and baby potatoes to each other, down the line and straight into their home. Suddenly, Talita heard a noise that made all the mice squeak in fright.
Oh no! That's Ginger the cat! I can hear her!
She said as she struggled to lift an egg onto her back.
How am I going to get home without breaking the eggs?
Talita grunted. While Talita was struggling with the eggs, Ginger jumped onto the table.
Oh no! Run, Talita! Run as fast as you can!
Shouted Marvin as he raced to get home. But before Talita could move, a few things happened. The dog started barking. All the little mice ran home squeaking, and the cat pounced and trapped Talita under her paw. The farmer and his daughter heard the noise and raced into the barn.
What on earth is going on here?
The farmer shouted. The cat got a fright and knocked the basket off the table. There were broken eggs everywhere. The farmer was very angry, but the dog ran over and happily licked the egg off the floor.
It's Ginger. She's being very naughty and chasing the poor little mouse,
said the farmer's daughter. She was only 3 years old and loved little field mice.
Hey, Ginger, let that mouse go.
The father bellowed. With a hiss, that cat dropped Talita off the table. Talita didn't wait to see what would happen next. She ran. She ran as fast as her dad had taught her across the barn and into the hole that was home. Talita had escaped. When she looked up, she saw her mom and dad and 23 siblings staring at her, their eyes huge with fright. Talita smiled as she dusted herself off. Then she said,
I might not have brought home an egg, but I kept the cat busy long enough for you two to gather enough food for a few months. And I got home safely. As for that silly cat, I will get him back next time.
And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called Run, Talita, Run, written by Vuyok Azingem too. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages, as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplements with great children's stories and activities available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
A very good afternoon. With the news headlines at 2:30, ke Mudupi Makhalemele. The MK party has lamented what it has termed parallel structures within the organization. The DA says the NPA owes the public an explanation on why it's decided not to prosecute anyone in relation to the crimes committed on President Ramaphosa's Phala Phala farm in Bilabila, Limpopo. And a United Nations source says Israeli forces have for a second day fired at an observation post belonging to the UN's peacekeeping mission in South Lebanon, wounding 2 soldiers. And those are your headlines. A full news update at 3.
Arts, culture, and robust conversations with Bridget Masinga.
It is the visual dramatics and representation. You know, you don't have to put that on.
Okay.
Please. Let's not ruin any of that. Dawn Thandeka King joins me now in studio. South African award-winning actress, radio actress, motivational speaker, MC, indigenous musician, and also a businesswoman. And I presume, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. Our time is so short now, but let's get straight to it. I presume the beads, is it all part of Izandla?
No, this is actually a collaboration. I've just been meeting wonderful women. In the month of September and October, I was introduced to women that work with their hands. One that did this headpiece. It's actually a statement piece, this. And her name is, I'll give you the handle, Urban Mims. Her name is Mumisa, and she's very good with headpieces, and this is what she did for me when we met. And and I'm going to be wearing a lot of her headpieces, statement pieces.
Well, listen, it's quite striking. It makes quite the impact. Like, I love it for you.
It's like Boma Abigail Kupega days. That era.
It's giving me that kind of diva. In fact, she would approve. Mom Abigail would approve very much.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, weirdly, Dawn, when I see you on social media, right? I see you quite the glamazon, makeup, hair, clivovo all the time. But when I see you on television in character, your characters always seem so completely far removed from my perception of who Dawn Thandeka King Somi is in life. Is that by deliberate design?
I think it's the characters that find me. The characters that find me are more powerful women, lethal women, women that are in control, and women that are always mothers. I've always attracted motherly characters. So it has a bit of me. In the characters, there's a bit of me, but I am completely different from the characters that I've played. Me, personally, Dawn Thandeka King. But I think what I have in common with every character that I've played is the mother aspect of it. But the guns and the
I do so love some of the characters that you've inhabited, the shows that I've personally watched. I just thoroughly enjoyed you on Dip City.
I'm so
really
happy someone enjoyed that.
What, people didn't enjoy it?
No, not that they didn't, but it's like she's a forgotten character. Uma Shenge was, I think, the first character that I've ever played where I don't have to be glamorous on screen. I just have to be a woman who is facing daily struggles, who is just a mom and a wife.
Yes.
And that's all I needed to focus on, and the struggles of just being a struggling human being, because we lived in Deep City, which is Deep Slut, in a shack. That's the type of family. And when you embody that character, you have to be true to it, because you are representing a certain section of society, and you have to truthfully reflect that. And I enjoyed that journey. I enjoyed it because the people around me enjoyed it and created it with me.
Yeah. Where do you go as a creative? Where do you go in the inner you to find the essence of these women, to find the essence of their stories?
I think it's because I was saying this in another interview, I have a mother energy inside of me, in that anyone calls me Mam Don. I mean, even people that are older than me, Mum Zog. So there's something inside of me that is that energy where I can access a mother. Of what caliber, angaz, but a mother, and then we create that character from that energy of being a mother. I suppose it's somewhere inside of me, and I'm very spiritual, so it is all together with spirituality and the energy. We all create something from that.
Yeah. Speaking of your spiritual journey, just to touch a little bit, we'll respect, everything that comes with it. But when you embarked on sort of that discovery of self, so was it something that was already, if you close your eyes and you just think back to, yesteryears growing up young Dawn, that you already kind of knew that your ancestors and life would push you in that particular direction?
I think because I didn't even come from that background. I came from a Christian background. I grew up in a Lutheran home. So there was no knowledge of that life. So when it happened to me, it was really a new journey for me and for my family. We learned together on how to embark on that journey. I was not given an option. It was just I had just had an encounter that I couldn't say, no, I don't want to do this. It was, you go on this journey because we are now sending you on this journey. And the journey was not necessarily to do it the usual way, the healing. I did that for a couple of years, the healing in Dumbeni and consulting. I did that. But then I needed to move out of that space because spirit evolves. So spirit needed me to be working in a particular place, in a particular industry, which is the entertainment industry, and heal through the talent that I've been given, the talent of performance.
Yeah.
And we do know that people go on that journey as musicians, but we've never, I think, come across people going on that journey to be actors. People do write music and they receive messages. People become artists, but rarely do you hear someone say, I went on the journey to be an actor, but I did.
Very interesting. It's reminiscent of a conversation I had with Tula the Song, and we played his music earlier on the show, and he's on his own spiritual journey at the moment. And he said this in conversation, and he was like, have you awakened to the fact that a lot of Africans with the spiritual connection and calling are actually creatives?
Yes.
Because your creative vehicle can also be a way of healing.
Yes.
And the two just find synergy together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm feeling nice and warm and I'm getting goosebumps from that. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Because there's that element of that energy. Energy heals. So when you are in a performing and you're a character and people watch you, obviously they're watching an energy. And you feel that through the screen. You feel yourself feeling different emotions because you are being healed or you are being taught something by a character on screen, but it is energy. It is all energy.
Yeah. And just as we close on this particular theme, what say you to those who've in recent years sort of criticized creatives that have gone on an ancestral journey? And then there's been, the school of thought of people, then the critics and the naysayers who go, oh, no, everyone's just doing it because it's the thing to be done by creatives right now. And it's the thing that fulfills their creative success. There's been a lot of that kind of messaging.
I think the sad thing is we don't take time to understand what it is. Ubungoma, it was known then as izinyanga, izingoma, to heal people. But what is that? It's an energy that finds you and you need to go on a journey. Utwase wenzeni. But now we've just said as creatives, we are healers too. So as healers, kumele sitwase. As healers, kumele we must go through a journey, a spiritual journey. So if people then are very quick to say, this is the thing that is being done, I'm happy it's happening. Africa is awakening. Africa is becoming who Africa is. Africa is the cradle of humankind. So everyone in Africa must be awake, and everyone that represents Africa in terms of television or whatever form of entertaining, they must be awakened to the fact that they are the owners of this powerful thing that we have. Whatever we walk with, we own it. No one can come and take my energy away from me. So if that needs to be nurtured, yes, so be it. And the naysayers, it's okay. You will come across your journey one day.
I love it. We are in conversation and we fast run out of time. Dawn Sandega King, actress, joining me now. She's an actress both on radio as well as television, motivational speaker. She's also a musician, by the way, indigenous music. And you know her from a whole host, plethora of things, from Uzalo, Deep City, kuningi nje akwenzayo uDawn. Ngifuna ukuthi before we go, let me ask you this. When did you know that you are famous?
Am I? It's a thing. I mean, I know famous people. I can tell you who's famous. I mean, she's famous. Nomza Mombata's very famous. Me? Wow. I'm just my kid's mom, eh? It hasn't occurred to me.
It hasn't occurred?
No. And it shouldn't occur.
Right?
No.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Yeah. I like how she laughs. That was the actress Dawn Tandeka King joining us today for Full Access. Let's take a quick break here. We'll come back on the other side of this and wrap up the show with the founder of the Little Artists School.
TUT Matasanta ladies are hungry for victory to climb up the ladder, but Royal AM have an incredible game plan to triumph and keep their top half position. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Witness the Mzansi Queens of the beautiful game. TUT Matasanta Ladies FC versus Royal AM Ladies on Saturday, 12 October at 11:30 a.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available everywhere for everyone, always on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
The 2024 Health Excellence Awards, hosted by Cliniques Health Group and the South African Clinician Scientist Society, is calling for nominations. This is your chance to recognize exceptional doctors, specialists, and medical professionals who are making an impact. The celebration of the 4th Annual Health Excellence Awards will take place on 16 November 2024 at Emperor's Palace in Johannesburg. Visit www.healthexcellenceawards.co.za to enter your nomination before 20 October 2024.
You are listening to The Full Circle.
When did you know that Maxhosa was famous?
It was 2016. I was taking a last international trip before moving back to Johannesburg. So I was on my way to Japan, Tokyo. As I walked back to the train to catch a flight to Japan, like in the AMs, like I walked across a young Chinese boy that was wearing a Maxhosa counterfeit.
Yes.
I froze and I opened my mouth and nothing came out of my mouth.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Will South Africa's peaceful constitutional democracy survive for the next 30 years? The 18th Albert Luthuli Memorial Lecture takes place on Saturday, the 12th of October at 12 p.m. at the University of KwaZulu-Natal's Westville campus in Durban. International Relations and Corporations Minister Ronald Lamula will deliver the lecture under the theme The Pursuit of Peace, Lessons from Chief Albert Luthuli. Members of the public are invited to attend or participate in the virtual online series. And for inquiries or to register, you can visit the Luthuli Museum social media platform or their website, or email profficer@luthulimuseum.org.za or adamsp@ukzn.ac.za.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Myths versus facts. I'm too young to get breast cancer. Many women under age 40 are diagnosed with breast cancer. Men can't get breast cancer. 1 in 922 men have a lifetime risk of breast cancer. I have never had children and can therefore not get breast cancer. Women who haven't had children or only had them after 30 have an increased risk of breast cancer. Breast Cancer Awareness Month on SAFM. Bridget Masinga, weekdays on The Full Circle.
Oh, right. Okay, you can have a seat, my love. I think maybe we can just sneak in another chair there, Angie. Leave the door open and sneak in another chair for the young gent if it's going to be in conversation. We are talking to the founder of the Little Artists School. Aput Edward Selimatsila joins me in studio, and he's got two of his young students with me, and you are the founder of the school, and you've dedicated your life to transforming the futures of disadvantaged youth through art. How are you doing, firstly, Aput Edward?
I'm doing well, and how are you doing?
I am great, thank you. Give us some background of the Little Artists School. I mean, how did the school come about, and where are you guys based?
The school started in 1995 in Marshalltown.
Okay.
Just close to Carlton Center. Yeah, it was there at ATD Albert Street.
Yeah.
The school started in this way. I was working with the children that have been taken from street. shelters and orphanages. Then we put them in one place. Then after I realized, I was still at the college by then. Then after I finished my college, then I realized that, no, these children, they are going around vandalizing people's cars. Then that's where the idea of the art classes started.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so from 1995, I mean, that's a long time ago. That's like the dawn of democracy. You have been at it in this community.
Yes. Actually, because, I there's something that is in my mind that, I've been having, because, when I was still young, I didn't get the opportunities of somebody who can mentor me in the side of art. Then that's where I had this idea of saying, okay, if I can, just make a difference, in the lives of the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And so let's talk about your ability also to just keep the organization going, because a lot of times when we have NGOs or good-hearted people like yourself, good-intended people like yourself who start up projects, no matter how sustained the journey is, it always has its ups and downs, and how do you get through sort of those times of challenges when you have a responsibility now to these young children in the community, but it also comes at high cost and high burden to yourself?
Yeah, I think, with the help of other people around me,
yeah.
Those who have the same desire and to see the change, the lives of the children.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't be where I am today. I had more people who are coming in. Some, they just hear that, no, okay, there is an art class here. Then they come with some packets of, oil pastels. Then they come and give to us. And then, that's where everything just kept going.
Lovely. I love it. I love getting community involved. If you are watching on our streaming feed, you probably are seeing my producer Angie in shot. Andy, can you also drop this mic before you go for our guests, as we try to situate our young guests in studio properly for this conversation? There we go. Thank you so much. Let me actually jump them in. Who do we have up with Edward? Who do we have in studio?
We've got Kevin Diale and also the lady there, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi.
Sharon looks like she's so shy. How are you doing this afternoon? You good?
Yes, I'm good, and you?
I'm great. Is that your normal voice? You why are you speaking so soft? Get the feeling when you're in art class, you are very loud.
It's just that I'm shy.
You're just shy?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
15. And when did you start with the Little Artist School?
I started in 2022, around January.
2022. All right. What was the attraction for you? Why do you like it?
Look, I enjoy doing art over there. I feel like I can also express myself using pastels, paint.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lovely. That's you.
Yes.
Kevin, how are you? I'm great. Thank you so much. I think you might need to pull that up a little bit to yourself. There we go. Yes. How are you? You good?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. Is Kevin's mic on? Okay. Why is it that I don't hear Kevin in my ears? Kevin, now how old are you?
I'm 21 years old.
21?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you start?
I started in 2019.
Yeah.
And it was more of a thing where I was trying to learn more about art because I've been seeing art from other people. And then I just decided, you know what, there's an art studio near my school, and let me just go there and attend a few classes. And from there, I've loved it.
Yeah. Is art maybe a consideration as a professional career for you?
Actually, it is.
Really?
Yeah, right now I'm just working with Uncle Edward.
Yeah.
And he's mentoring me and my other friends.
Yeah.
They're working with him in the studio. And yeah, it's an amazing time.
Well, what kind of artist are you? Give me some information. What kind of work do you do? What fascinates you? What are you attracted to?
So right now I'm working on a series of cats. So
a series of cats?
Of cats.
Okay.
Yes. So the cats are meant to represent the curious side of artists, seeing how artists are always experimenting with different materials, elements in art, and basically medians in
Okay.
art. And so it's a way of kind of exploring that and also depicting it as a cat. So the cat just represents that more curious nature of an artist.
Mm.
Yes.
I mean, up with Edward, Kevin already sounds like he's ready for his artist statement, right? like he's already ready to call us for his solo exhibition and give us a well-crafted artist statement so that we can sit and go, cats. I love it. Sharon, who is your, and I know you started in 2022, so you're relatively new to the school, but you still had some time. And I'm pretty sure before you came to the school, maybe you already were looking at artists, but now that you've been in the school, you probably observe more artists. Who do you like? Whose work do you like? Do you have an artist that you like?
Yes, I do.
Who?
I would say that I like.
Speak up for me.
I would say that I like Uncle Ndishel's artworks because it's mostly about landscape, and I also like homeland things.
Oh, so you're into landscapes?
Yes.
Really? How very old school of you, hey? That's quite old school of you. I think the money is where it's at with the landscapes. That's where the money is really at. The cats will have to figure it out, but the cats could become something else somewhere down the line. Up with Edward, what is the long-term vision for you with Little Artist School? What would you hope that the school evolves into, not just for the kids in the community, but also just as a institution of art in Greater Johannesburg?
I believe, in life, what you can give. What is important in life, is to invest in someone next to you.
Mm.
I think, giving education to them and getting skills, that is a great thing that I would like to see, going into the youth of ours today.
Mm.
I'm very glad that now, even Rosebank College, they came in also to offer some bursaries to our students, those who are doing well. Same like Kevin, next year he's gonna be going to Rosebank College.
Wonderful!
And
Congratulations.
also Abel. And what I want to see happening is just to make a difference, to each and every youth, because many of our youth are sitting at home and they don't even know what they want to do. Now we've got even an opportunity to get some counselors who are going to talk to them about, their career that they are taking.
Mm.
Yeah, so the real issue, for the little artists is to make difference in the lives of the youth.
Mm. And I wonder, have you also, as part of the program, I love the fact that Rosebank College, we often speak to them when we have conversations around academia on the show. They really are led by, I think, a great educator. But I wonder also if you've considered, as part of your program, also exposing, these young artists to just the business of art. I'm preoccupied and I specialize in talking to a lot of artists, and it always surprises me how it's only when an artist has left, fine art school and graduated from Wits with a very costly degree and gotten into the world that they then realize that central to their success is not just the creativity, but also the understanding of the business. Because if you're going to go into it, you have to be your own business manager, your own marketer, your own brand person, there's so many other elements besides just being locked in the studio with the canvas.
Yeah, it's not enough just to have a skill alone. Having discipline and all this other stuff on your side, they are very, very important to build you up. So we don't really focus only, on teaching a skill, how to draw, to paint and all that. But we sit down with them and talk and ask them, their backgrounds and to understand them, where they come from. And then we use the same art, as a sort of a therapy to heal some of the wounds, because, most of the children that we deal with, they are not just children that are coming from a good family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are from, very, awkward
hard
situation.
environments.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we wish you the very best of luck, and we hope that the friends of the show who can plug in various ways to help really sustain the good work of the Little Artist School do reach out to you and plug in, similarly to how Rosebank College is plugged in. There's so many other institutions that I think can help you realize the dreams of all of your young artists, including our artist communities as well, our very successful artist communities, the likes of Nelson. I'm throwing out this bone to come through. Nelson, pick up the call and go through to Little Artist School. How wonderful would a day be with Nelson Makamo, so he can tell you how he broke the mold and became one of the most successful young black artists to come out of South Africa. Congratulations, guys.
And we are very proud of him.
Right? It's such a pleasure to meet y'all. I'm going to pop into your school one of these days. I'm going to come and visit.
Yeah,
and just see.
And we also have got an exhibition at Prison Break.
Oh, lovely. When is that?
The 26th and the 27th.
Of October?
Yes.
Prison Break Market?
Yes.
That's around the corner from my house. I'm definitely coming. So 26th and 27th of October, we've got an exhibition and a date with the Little Artist School out at Prison Break to go see all the incredible work that Abud Edward and his kids have been getting up to. That's how we wrap up the show from our end. Thank you so much for being in conversation with us this entire week. It's been a pleasure. Today's show has kept us, myself and my team, on our tippy toes, but we definitely managed to get through the couple of hours. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again on Monday.
Friday nights in Gqeberha will never be the same. Bafana are taking on the Congo at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium on the 11th of October 2024 at 7 p.m. Come early, dressed to support Bafana. Sit in our Guijo stand for a chance to win prizes. Gates open at 4 p.m. and tickets start from 60 Rand for adults and 140 for a family ticket. 2 adults and 2 children with special rates available at 30 Rand for children under 12. Scholars in uniform and students with student cards at all Ticket Pro outlets. If you can't make it to Gqeberha, catch the game live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 at 7 p.m. or visit sabcsport.com.